Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Electric Bison. I'm going to be talking about nuclear weapons again. The four committees that are responsible for getting this country going in the right direction with nuclear weapons as we move into a whole new era. The Senate and House Authorization Committees and the Senate and House Appropriations Committees have finished their work. And it'll be coming out here to the main body of the legislature here shortly at the federal level. But basically what's happened is they let the arms merchants have pretty much everything they wanted. And they've done a few things to expedite some pieces of the money to make it part of, a budget balancing thing. We'll be hearing about that later. But between the Golden Dome and the Sentinel Modernization Program, it's about $400 million. It's going to be being approved now for this next fiscal year. It's going to really make a big increase in the Defense Department budget, or the War Department budget, I guess they're calling it now. So there was some disagreement, between Democrats and Republicans, but basically the Republicans let the Defense Department or War Department have everything that it wanted. The big changes are that there's a strong feeling that they don't really know what the architecture is going to be yet. Congress people don't, and they were pretty united on getting the Defense Department to come in 60 days after the appropriation goes into effect to come up with, what's it going to look like. They're funding something they don't really know what it looks like yet. The other big thing that's happened is the Sentinel missile modernization program. The replacement for Minuteman hasn't been reduced in size at all, but it's become part of the broader Golden Dome thing. And they were selling themselves as the foundation for Golden Dome. Well, it's going to be a lot of money, and they're acting as though the Congressional Budget Office hasn't said a thing about it costing much, much more than what the Defense Department and the White House are saying it's going to cost. So I guess the nose of the camel is under the tent for sure. So while that's going on, and for this next fiscal year, some other really important things have happened. The people working in artificial intelligence, and as it applies to our nuclear warfare capability, are starting to use the phrase left of launch. It's a whole new thing, left of launch. And basically it's talking about the kinds of things that AI can pick up on to tell us sooner rather than later that the threat is going to be doing something to us, so that we can react immediately. So it's kind of like if you could read a baseball team, the opposing baseball team signals, he rubs his arm, it means some kind of a pitch, that kind of thing, only much, much more sophisticated. And that is a prelude to, or part and parcel of, a whole new attitude about preemptive war, preemptive nuclear war. Get them before they get us. We had that. We've not had preemptive nuclear war. We can have it now. Right now, we're one of the countries that allows for preemptive strike. In fact, we had a preemptive strike on Iran with this latest thing right in the middle of a peace talk, just like the Japanese did to us at Pearl Harbor. We attacked Iran, so that's preemptive. Well, we're headed that way with nuclear war now, and we came real close back in, I think it was about 1984. I was in Europe with Able Archer, which is a return of forces to Germany. I was a captain. I was over there, and I didn't realize that I was a small piece of a much larger picture where our naval forces were way forward past the Icelandic Gap. And if you remember, we had, in that time, we had the Grenada invasion. Well, Grenada was a part of Great Britain's responsibilities, and that required a lot of communication going back and forth between us and Great Britain. And the way the Soviets were looking at this, they were seeing people like me up with our tanks up close to the 1K zone along the Czech border, and the American fleet way forward of the Icelandic Gap, and all this communication going on with Britain. And then we had that shoot down of the Korean airliner, if you remember. That was because they thought it was part of some kind of a devious thing that we were doing as far as nuclear war is concerned. In fact, it got so bad that they were planning to launch, the Soviets, if we had taken any more steps closer to having the president and the Secretary of Defense go into the secret bunkers to do what they would do during a nuclear exchange. So that was called the Able Archers scare, and it was pretty bad. Well, what we're talking about now with this left of launch stuff is much, much worse, much less time to decide, and of course, the answer is, well, let AI do it. Well, AI doesn't have morality. AI is amoral. I says amoral is this hat. It's amoral. You can't make those kind of decisions. And so we're moving into a really, really, really scary time of the world is. And meanwhile, what's going on is the Pope has decided to build on the feelings in the Vatican that to talk down the just law, the just warfare theory, which has been used for years by Christian nations to justify going to war. He's saying, no, there's no justification. When we're moving into a period when we have such devastating war, which is what we'll have if we go to a war with left of launch or whatever, there's no justification for it. So that's really important what the just war theorists are learning now from the Vatican. And like my wife, she's saying, well, that's just the Pope talking. Well, it has a slow effect over time, over all kinds of people. And but it may not be a fast enough effect. And even if it is very effective, who's going to stop all the Israels that want to go do it to their neighbors, or the Irans that want to go do it to their neighbors, or the Somalis? So what I've done is I've already begun developing an idea that I have, which is, what are we going to do to have stability in the world under this new environment? And I think what we need to do is begin to exercise the United Nations Security Council, which is China, Russia, Great Britain, France, and the United States, plus others that come and go, to control a really high-quality peace enforcement capability. Peace enforcement means you can actually go and fight. So, for example, if we put a peace enforcement capability made up of the European powers who are already very interoperable because they've been part of NATO over all these years, make them an arm of the Security Council and put them into the Middle East to force Israel to step back a few paces out of Lebanon and out of Gaza so that we can get some kind of a Palestinian state going to solve that problem. Maybe try it out there. And of course, the peace enforcement countries that would be involved are also very concerned about what's going on with the Straits of Hormuz. So they have a vested interest in keeping away the threat that Israel poses to any treaty that might come out of this Iranian-U.S. confrontation. I know that's a lot, but I'm just telling you where I'm going on it. I'm looking at so far this Golden Dome is not impressing me at all. And the fact that they've rolled in the Sentinel program to be part of it and justified it, I mean, it's amazing. If we didn't have that, we would have aliens to justify the money we're spending on defense. And it's horrific. It really is. Anyhow, that's the latest. I wish it was good news, but it's not. Thanks.